You are standing in line. The person ahead of you is taking forever, and before you even decide to do it, your hand is already in your pocket. The phone is out. The thumb is moving. You have escaped the empty seconds without thinking. It feels like nothing. It feels like a tiny, harmless reflex. But the real answer is far stranger than a bad habit. That itch you just felt, that desperate little tug to fill the silence, is one of the oldest forces inside you. It is older than language. It is older than farming. It may be older than fire. And here is the part nobody tells you. That feeling you are trying so hard to kill might be the single reason your species ever became anything at all. You have been taught that boredom is the enemy, a gap, a waste, a symptom of a lazy mind or a slow afternoon. You treat it like a problem to be solved, and you solve it instantly, hundreds of times a day. But what if boredom was never the absence of something? What if it was a signal, a push, a quiet engine that has been driving human beings forward for 2 million years? Think about what boredom actually does to you. It does not let you rest. That is the strange thing. When you are truly bored, you do not feel peaceful. You feel restless, agitated. Your skin almost crawls with the need to do something, anything that is not this. Boredom is not comfort. Boredom is pressure. The psychologist John Eastwood, who studies this at York University, defines boredom in a way that changes everything once you hear it. He calls it the unengaged mind, not an empty mind, an engaged engine with nowhere to go. Your attention is running at full power, searching for something worth holding on to, and finding nothing. That mismatch is the discomfort. Your mind is a hunter with no prey in sight, and it hates standing still. Now ask yourself a simple question. Why would evolution build a creature that suffers when it has nothing to do? A lazy animal that felt fine doing nothing would simply do nothing. It would conserve energy. It would survive. But you were not built to be fine with nothing. You were built to be tormented by it. And that torment is expensive. It costs energy. It costs comfort. Evolution does not pay for things that do not work. So boredom must be doing something. It must have paid for itself, over and over across an unimaginable stretch of time. Picture one of your ancestors, hundreds of thousands of years ago. The hunt is over. The belly is full. The fire is warm. There is no threat tonight. By every logic of survival, this is the moment to rest, to stop, to save energy for tomorrow. But the mind will not switch off. It starts to ache for input. It picks up a stone and turns it over. It scratches a line into the dirt. It taps two rocks together just to hear the sound. It does something useless, something with no immediate reward. And that uselessness, that refusal to sit still in safety, is exactly where everything begins. The researcher, Sandy Mann, at the University of Central Lancashire, has spent years showing something that sounds almost backward. Boredom makes people more creative. In her experiments, she gave people a dull, mind-numbing task first. Copying numbers out of a phone book, reading them aloud, pure tedium. And then she asked them to think of new uses for an everyday object. The bored group did better. They reached further. They came up with stranger, more original ideas than people who had not been bored at all. Why? Because a bored mind goes looking. When the outside world offers nothing, your attention turns inward and starts to wander. It connects things that do not normally touch. It daydreams. It imagines. Man argues that boredom is a launch pad for creativity, the necessary discomfort that pushes the mind off the ground. So now, look back at your ancestor by the fire, restless, tapping rocks. That restlessness is the same restlessness man measured in a laboratory, the same engine. And given 100,000 bored nights across millions of restless minds, that engine starts to produce things, a sharper edge on a tool, a mark that means something, a sound shaped into a word, a pattern pressed into clay. You did not invent these things because you needed them to survive that night. You already had food. You already had shelter. You invented them because you could not stand to do nothing. This is the part that should stop you cold. Necessity gets all the credit. We say necessity is the mother of invention, but necessity only solves the problem in front of you. Necessity makes you find water when you are thirsty. It does not make you paint a horse on a cave wall by torchlight. It does not make you carve a flute out of bone. Those things came from minds that were safe and fed and unbearably, productively bored. Consider the cave paintings at places like Lascaux and Chauvet, tens of thousands of years old, made deep underground in total by people who had to carry fire just to see what they were doing. There was no survival reason for this. No animal was hunted better because of a painting. And yet someone went into the dark and made art anyway. Someone had a mind so hungry for engagement that emptiness itself became unbearable, and the only cure was to create. But there is a darker side to this engine, and you need to see it too. The psychologists Wynand van Tilburg and Eric Igu have studied what boredom does to the search for meaning. Their work suggests that boredom is not just about having nothing to do. It is about a sense that what you are doing has no point. Boredom whispers that this moment is meaningless, and in response, the mind goes searching for meaning somewhere else. It pushes you to find a goal, a project, a purpose, anything that makes the time feel like it counts. That hunger for meaning built temples and tools and stories. But the same hunger Van Tilburg and Igu found can also push people toward more extreme beliefs, stronger group identities, sharper lines between us and them. A bored mind looking for purpose is not always gentle about where it finds it. The engine that built civilization is the same engine that can drive someone to do something reckless just to feel alive. Boredom does not care what you fill it with. It only demands that you fill it. And this is where your modern life takes a sharp, strange turn. For 2 million years, your ancestors had no easy way to silence that engine. When boredom struck, they had to make something, build something, imagine something, talk to someone. The discomfort had nowhere to go but outward, into the world, into invention, into the slow accumulation of everything we now call culture. The pressure had to become creation because there was nothing else to do with it. You do not live like that anymore. You have a device in your pocket engineered with billions of dollars and the sharpest minds of a generation to kill that feeling the instant it appears. The moment boredom rises, you swipe it away. A video, a feed, a flood of input designed to keep your engaged mind engaged, endlessly, effortlessly, forever. You never reach the restlessness. You never reach the wandering. You never reach the part where the bored mind, finding nothing outside, finally turns inward and starts to create. Teresa Belton, a researcher who studied boredom in children, found something that should worry every adult holding a phone. She found that children who are never allowed to be bored, who are constantly entertained, struggle to develop their own inner imaginative life. Boredom, she argued, is essential for the development of the imagination. The empty moment is not wasted. It is where the mind learns to make its own worlds. Take away the emptiness and you take away the practice. So think about what you are actually doing in that checkout line. You feel the oldest engine in your species begin to turn. The same pressure that carved the first tool and painted the first horse and shaped the first word. And you reach into your pocket and you switch it off before it can do anything at all. How many ideas have you swiped away without ever knowing they were coming? How many wandering thoughts, how many strange connections, how many small inventions of your own mind have you killed in the first half second before they ever had the chance to form? You are not lazy when you are bored. You are not broken. You are standing at the edge of the exact state that made your ancestors human. Boredom is not the enemy of a good life. It is the uncomfortable doorway your mind has always walked through on its way to something new. The restlessness is not a malfunction. It is an invitation, the same one your species has been answering for 2 million years. The next time you feel it, that little itch in an empty moment, try something almost impossible. Do nothing. Let it build. Let the engine turn. Let your mind get so hungry for engagement that it has no choice but to start making its own. Sit in the discomfort that built the world. You might be astonished by what your bored brain hands you if you only give it the silence it has been starving for. Because here is the truth you started the day not knowing. You are standing in line. The person ahead of you is taking forever. And that empty, restless, unbearable moment you keep trying to escape is not a gap in your life. It is the oldest and most human part of it, still turning, still waiting, still ready to build.